warm welcome to each and every one of you. So we hope that the weather is pleasant wherever you are. So first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Kyla, and I'm the content specialist for Inuni Global. Just before we begin, a quick note to everyone. Please know that this session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be shared with you after this session. Also, we encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar, even at the start, even right now. If you do have any questions in your mind, just feel free to drop it down in our Q&A box below. You can see it on the down below your screen. And our speakers will address as many questions during the session. And we'll follow up via email if any of those questions were not answered today. So yeah, I'm very excited to introduce two amazing speakers for today. Joining us is Dr. Alan Martin. Sorry, can we go to the next slide? There we go. So joining us today is Dr. Alan Martin. He is the International Recruitment and Retention Coordinator at Avila University. Dr. Allen designs and leads targeted recruitment strategies for diverse international markets while also providing hands-on support to ensure student success. He bridges strategy and student care to create a welcoming and effective global experience at Avila. Pleased to meet you, Dr. Alan. Thank you so much for taking the time today and being here. Would you like to say hello to our guests for today?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here and to share with you information that's helpful for this webinar and its content and specific to Avila University.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Lastly, we would also like to welcome Anmol Dewan. He is the Associate Director at Inuni Global, representing Avila University. Anmol brings extensive experience in managing large accounts, driving consistent growth, and leveraging innovative technologies to unlock new business opportunities. He's also a pro at building strategic partnerships and executing high-impact promotional campaigns with precision. Hello, Anmo. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to say hello to our guests for today?
Yeah, hi Kyla. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. And let's explore Kansas City. Let's explore Avila in today's webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, again for joining in today's session.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that. So, all right, as we conclude our webinar series, I know that some of you have attended the webinars before, and this final session continues our goal of helping you envision the life in the United States and explore the possibilities that come with studying at Avila University in Kansas City. Now, if you joined us for previous webinars, you've already learned about what it's like to live, study in Kansas City, including housing options, social life, and student organizations. So today we'll shift our focus to internship and also the job opportunities, career pathways after graduation, and how Avila University connects students with real-world employers. So now I'd like to welcome Anmol to share more insights about Kansas City.
Thank you so much, Kyla. Probably, the favorite part that we love to discuss when we are, engaging with our students, when we are engaging with our partners. So, Kansas, these days when students, they are applying to US universities, the first thing that, probably influence the decision is the city, right? In which city are they going forward to? And Kansas has so much to offer. And this has come from our experience when we have recruited, hundreds of students to Avila University. The kind of experience they share, the kind of possibilities, opportunities that are there in Kansas City, they are very encouraging, right? So Kansas has high quality, of life at a very, very affordable cost, right? That is something uh, for which Kansas is known, right? And as we were discussing employment opportunities, on the slide mentioned in front of everyone, we can see Kansas saw an increase of 1.9% in employment growth, which is not only the growth, of the companies or of the opportunities that are there in Kansas City, but also, the opportunities that are provided to students who are studying in Kansas City, right? So students, they can enjoy modern amenities, vibrant city life without without stressing much on their financials. That is what I've got from my own experience when working with students at Avila University. Then there are a lot of companies like I can see Cerner, which is a well-known company out there in Kansas City. Then Kansas is headquartered to a lot of companies like Garmin and other giants, which have lot of possibilities, opportunities for our students who are studying in Avila University. Not only tech, um, also the courses like kinesiology that we offer at Avila. So there are a lot of healthcare companies which have their base in Kansas City, and we see a lot of our students doing internships, working in those companies in Kansas City itself. Can we move to the other slide, please? Yeah. So that's what I was discussing, internship and job opportunities. So as we know, Kyla, and I'm very sure our partners on the call would also, know the fact that the major thing that influence a student's decision of studying in USA is internship opportunities, right? Especially South Asian students, they're very considered, they're very very much towards the internship opportunities which comes with their course. So I'm very happy to share that Avila has lot of such kind of internship opportunities inside the campus, as well as Kansas has lot to offer when it comes to off-campus internships opportunities. Students can avail these benefits. They can avail the services that we have at the campus when it comes to support in terms of their CPT and OPT opportunities, right? They can reach out to the DSO office. They can reach out to people like Dr. Allen himself, right, who can guide them with the process for CPT and OPT. Talking about how good it is to be working in Kansas City. So, as per, I was recently going through a list of 15 top 15 cities for business growth, which was published by Forbes, and I was very happy to see Kansas City in that rankings, right? So, Kansas City has been ranked as 15th top city when it comes to business growth. So, this just indicates the kind of growth, the kind of opportunities that are there for our students in Kansas City, right? Then we have just discussed about companies like Senner, Garment, H&R. All these companies, they provide that kind of fertile land for all those aspirations, that students have and in their minds, in their hearts when they go to USA, right? Uh, I'll also like to discuss about startups, because this is something which is being discussed a lot. So over 500 plus startups are calling Kansas City their home now, and they are supported by a lot of incubators like Launch KC, Techstars KC, etc. So every student who is interested to be working for a startup or a future entrepreneur, they can surely look forward to be in Kansas City. We'll move to the next slide, please. Yeah, off campus. So that is what, off campus internship opportunities, I'm very sure, as compared to other metro cities like New York, and that this has been my personal experience. The opportunities are a lot better when it comes to Kansas City, when it comes to off campus internships. But the good part about, you know, our community at Avila is that students can even get very, very good opportunities inside the campus. And we have a lot of success stories, Kala, to be shared, right? I know students who have, you know, been in campus, and they have, got those kind of opportunities while they were studying, right? So, Avila is totally focused to provide those opportunities. This is the kind of environment that students expect, and I'm very sure our students will succeed once they are at the campus. Yeah, so that is what on-campus employment opportunities. So, international students are permitted to work part-time 20 hours per week. That is as per the rules of systems, right? And they may work full time during their breaks, like the summer breaks and all. And good part about Avila, I see probably a lot of our students using these opportunities and supporting the different departments at Avila University. Uh, they gain valuable work experience. That's true. Building those kind of connections, they're very important. And they are helping them indeed with their future jobs, getting those letter of recommendations from their professors, getting those connections inside the university, that is playing a major role in the student's life after they have graduated as well. So right, growth industries in Kansas. I'm sure students in South Asia, even our partners, they are uh, more inclined towards tech. That is something when we hear studying in USA, the first thing that comes to our mind is STEM, right? Is technology, is AI, business analytics, and all those companies which are based out in Kansas City. They have very good opportunities for tech programs, but not only tech. As I mentioned, that we also have some healthcare courses at Avila, and there are a lot of healthcare and bioscience companies who are being set up in Kansas City now, right? They need professionals, and international students have always proved to be the best professionals working in these companies. So definitely, our students have those opportunities in Kansas City.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Anmol.
Thanks, Kyla.
Although, of course, I've been thinking since you already have a lot of years of experience here, I would just like to ask you if that's okay.
Yeah, of
Can you
course.
give us, one piece of advice to, graduating students right now, um, on how to be, successful in their career path here? Anything that you can give to them, any
Yeah.
advice?
For sure, Kyla. So, whenever I'm in talks with any of our students who is in Avila, the first thing that I'll tell them would be to live on campus. Honestly, when we are at the campus, we can make those kind of relations, to be very honest. And these relations really play a very important role, Kyla. When you have those kind of relations, you can expect to be, in that particular community where you'll get the real support, right? I see some of our students shying away, just attending the college, going back to their places. They should kind of use all the opportunities which are available for them at Avila University. Probably every student should be meeting Dr. Allen, right? And in person, right? Then only they can expect that kind of support, from the university itself, right? So this is very important to make those kind of relations. That is why, international students are there for, right? And probably if they can, they should live on campus. They'll be safe, and they can, leverage all the facilities that are there in the campus.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
Yeah,
Actually, if you live on the campus, you get to experience all the different things that the, Avila has to offer. I
right.
mean, that's part of what we are here in life, you get to
Yeah,
learn more and experience more if you're already there.
right,
So yeah,
right,
thank you so
absolutely.
much. Thank you so
Undoubtedly.
much for that, Anwal.
Yeah,
So you see, everyone, there are a lot of opportunity in Kansas City, and if you feel like you want to make use of your time well as if you want to make use of your time well while studying, you could apply for, part-time job and full-time job as well to get the feels of being a part of the community. So this is also a great chance to, socialize and meet new people, which is a great way to grow. So yeah, just a small reminder for everyone, if you have questions, just feel free to drop it in our Q&A box on our screen so our speakers can answer it later during the live session. Now let's call on Dr. Allen to discuss more about the pathways for international students.
Certainly. Thank you, Kyla. And thanks, Anmol, for all of that information. I couldn't agree more about your point about living on campus. The personal connections are so vital. Um, One thing that I hear from students, which is a slight misconception these days, is that students that are doing our technology degrees feel like the personal connections and networking aren't maybe as important as somebody in the business or marketing fields. But these days, the industry's evolved, and these personal connections are so important for professional development and getting opportunities. And that's why many of our degrees actually include a management core, even if they're in a STEM field. So they're getting these experiences, and the on-campus experience is just a better way of networking and making these personal connections. There's nothing that can substitute for face-to-face meeting and interaction. But anyway, thank you. I wanted to just start by building upon what Anmol was sharing about the CPT and OPT opportunities. This is probably one of the things that students are most interested in when they are looking to study at a university in the United States. Perhaps most of you on this webinar have heard of it. Maybe you're already thinking you want to pursue it. Maybe you've never heard of it before, but I can give you some more information and context on what these mean. So, CPT is curricular practical training. This is the internship style employment that Anmal was describing. It occurs during your degree program. So everything on the left side of the slide applies to CPT. It is a way for you to get valuable job experience in the field of your study. So it is something that when you're seeking employment, you can apply for a job in the field related to your degree. And once you receive that job offer with a letter of offering you a position, you can work with the team here at Avila to get approval for you to have that type of internship employment while you're studying. Many of our students study on a part-time basis, which for which there's no limit. You can do that throughout the entirety of your degree, so long as your employment is approved and it's related to your degree program. Uh, but it is also possible to do full-time CPT. You are limited to a maximum of 1 calendar year of full-time CPT before you become ineligible for OPT, but we still do support you with that. Many of our graduate programs for the capstone, the final course to complete the degree, the options are one of two. One is to complete a project. The other is to complete an internship. So it is actually something that is very common for our students, especially in our graduate programs, to complete a program of CPT. Uh, as part of completing the degree. And we are keenly aware that our students are so interested in this, but also that prospective employers are very interested in students having these experiences because it is no longer sufficient in today's market, today's job market, to just have a completed degree to really enter a field and excel in it because employers are looking more and more for this level of experience and on-the-job training, even for someone who's just freshly out of college and finished their degree, they want to see that on a resume. So we want to help support our students as best as we can to pursue these opportunities. Uh, on the right side of your slide here, you see OPT, which is optional practical training. Uh, it is something that we encourage our students to pursue. I myself was an F1 student and I completed 2 degrees here in the United States as an F1 student, and I participated in OPT. It's something that you apply for as you're approaching the end of your degree program. And what that is it provides you with the eligibility to work uh, for up to 1 year after you finish your degree program. So after you graduate, you can find employment um, which can be full-time employment in a field that's related to your degree of study. There is a process that is required for approving OPT, which is actually done externally through USCIS. CPT is approved internally by our team. OPT is approved externally by USCIS. But we will guide you through that application process, and our team has regular workshops and webinars to help you with the process and to go through the application step by step and give you all the information that you need to apply, and so that you can get the benefit of this employment eligibility after you graduate. So that's another way of maintaining your F1 status, but being able to work and be gainfully employed using the degree that you have with Avila. Next slide. So for OPT specifically, there is also an OPT extension that is specific to fields in STEM. So if your degree that you complete is classified as a STEM subject, so it's in the science and technology fields, then you are eligible to apply for an additional 2 years on top of that first year of OPT, so a total of 3. And the way that works is as you near the end of your first year of OPT, you can apply for this extension. as long as you meet the criteria, which you can see listed on the right of the slide, and then you're eligible to apply for that. Typically, many of our students are very interested in STEM degrees for this particular reason, because they want to have that opportunity to apply for this extension. So you can come to Avila University, you can complete your degree program, and you can complete, if you complete a STEM degree, up to 3 years of OPT potentially, and work for 3 years. And you can do this at each degree level. So bachelor's degree, you can do that. And then if you go on and study a master's degree afterwards, you can continue that process and do OPT again after your master's degree. So it is something that you can do more than once if you are advancing to a higher degree level. So that gives you some information about CPT and OPT, which hopefully will answer some of the questions that you may have. But I want to share with you a little bit more about what we do here at Avila and how we can support you specifically in your journey to find internships and employment as related to your F1 status. So a little bit about us, if you don't know already. We are an institution that's in the suburbs of Kansas City and a nice quiet area, so you get the best of both worlds. You get to have a nice calm and quiet campus environment, but you're about 20 minutes away from the downtown area with access to all the amenities and all the wonderful companies that Animal was mentioning as well. Um, a little bit about my background. My background is in music education, and I specialized in musical theater. If you are familiar with the musical Oklahoma, there is a song in it called Everything's Up to Date in Kansas City. And it's one of my favorite songs from the show. And it's an older musical, but it holds true. Historically, Kansas City has always been one of these cities that's been on the forefront of development. That's why you see a lot of these industries that Anmol was pointing out growing in Kansas City, and why you see Kansas City as still one of the top growing cities in the United States. So we have a lot of these industries in technology and the medical field that a lot of our students are interested in employment opportunities at. Um, Anmol mentioned Cerner. There's a running joke here in the Kansas City area that it is very hard to go to anywhere without bumping into somebody who works at Cerner, because they have so many employees and they're such a big company. But here at Avila on our campus, we have small class sizes, which is a great benefit because you get a lot more personal attention. And our faculty are very highly accomplished, and most of them have many years experience in their field. Not only that, but they have also been building these connections within their fields. So when you're studying with us, and especially as Anmol and Kyla were mentioning, if you're living on campus and making these personal connections with our faculty, that in turn can lead to more introductions to people in the field where you wish to work or do an internship, because our faculty are experts and they're so well connected. Uh, we also on campus have a community that's diverse, reflecting the diversity of Kansas City. 31% of our students are first generation college attendees. So they're the first in their family to go to college. So we're very proud to support that and provide resources to guide students through this process who maybe don't have that information being passed down from their parents or older siblings. But we're also very focused on making a career-ready approach. So many of our degrees are tailored to fit within the industry needs of today. I mentioned a little bit earlier that even our STEM degrees have core classes within them that are related to management, because we are finding in the field of STEM, such as, say, if you want to do computer programming, it is no longer uh, the jobs for computer programming in that industry are no longer just focused on that one thing. You're expected to do a multitude of other things that related to management tasks, networking, team building. And so our degrees are very much built in a way to make you ready for such a career and to make you a very desirable hire for these positions. So the way in which we do that is we've built a lot of resources to support you in that. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. We've built a lot of resources to help you with that. So we have a Center for Student Excellence, and we have our international student services that work closely together to help our international student population specifically with this career readiness throughout their degree program and also for after they've graduated. After you've graduated from Avila, actually, you still have access to a lot of our career development resources as an alumni. So it's not something that you will lose access to after you graduate, which is another value for the having a degree from Avila. But we have a specific coordinator on our ISS staff for CPT and OPT, so somebody who's dedicated to helping students with that process. We also have a career services coordinator as well, who we work closely with. Uh, Through the Career Center, there are a lot of different resources that are free to students to pursue. So things like career counseling and advisement, resume writing workshops, interview skills workshops, assistance with job searches, connections to job fairs. We also have Handshake, which is an application that we use for on-campus employment opportunities where you can see what's available and you can apply for those. We have a lot of our students working on campus in various areas, but we also make connections with local organizations. There is an organization called 1 Million Cups, for example, which actually began in Kansas City, but is now a nationwide organization with chapters across the United States. And what that is a forum for entrepreneurs to meet once a week and to share ideas and get feedback on their platforms, and their progress is shared and tips are given. And we're actually having a 1 Million Cups. We're inviting them to be on our campus at the beginning of October, for example. So we make these connections to these local organizations so that our students can then therefore be more connected to the industries. And that's part of our international student services and career services collaboration. Next slide. Thank you. Yeah, so of course, we want to make sure that you are the most desirable hire, essentially. We know that the students that come to Avila are interested in developing their skills and getting that education and the qualification, but also they want to fit into the workforce as it is today for their fields. So we want to make sure that our career development goals align with everything that our students are coming in with. So we want to make sure that the environment that we have is safe and supportive of your personal growth. And we have a lot of resources in place to support you, not just professionally, but also personally for that purpose. We're also always promoting inclusive opportunities for skill development and participation and early career exploration. So we don't just leave it to the last minute for you to explore career opportunities. They are presented to you and resources are available to you throughout your entire degree program as a student. So from day one on campus, you can be talking to our career services about your opportunities, your potential for internships later in your program. It's all there for you from the very beginning of your degree program. And we're building a foundation for lifelong leadership as well. So again, part of that core management uh, coursework as part of our degree programs, we are trying to make sure that you are not just going to be an employee with these companies, but you're going to be a leader and progress and advance within the industries. So we're trying to make sure you're as career ready as possible and helping you develop your professional identity. And in doing so, we do collaborate a lot with other outside organizations, and we facilitate that with you. And you'll be getting a lot of information about upcoming events on campus and off campus that you can visit to make these personal and professional connections. So this just kind of sums it up. So why Avila University? Well, based on everything I've said, uh, we are very aware about the students coming to us who have needs and desires to not only complete their degree, but also get this professional working experience as part of their degree program and opportunities for career development and advancement post-graduation. So we offer this support. We offer individual and personalized career counseling as part of our career services center. It's included in your student enrollment. It's not anything additional. We also have a lot of internship partnerships already created, and we're always working on creating more. Our faculty are very well connected within the industries that they teach. Many of them have been working for decades in that industry and are teaching at a later chapter in their life, so they already have these connections that they can share, and we help build up your internship opportunities through that. But obviously, being in Kansas City, as up to date as it is, and as it still grows, there are many industries that choose to call Kansas City home. And so there are lots of opportunities in various fields. It's a great balance of finding something where you can have these opportunities. And it's also just a very manageable. And as Anmol mentioned, it's very cost effective to live in Kansas City. And lastly, of course, we've got all this guidance for international students specifically. We have a great team on board for international student services, of course, myself, and we have about 7 or 8 others in the international student services team to help work with you on these, including one who's dedicated to CPT and OPT coordination. So we have a great team, and we're certain that we can provide the opportunities that the students are looking for these days.
Thank you so much, Dr. Allen. Yeah, we've learned a lot, but one thing that really stuck in my mind was you mentioned you were part of musical, and maybe you would like to give us a sample in the next webinar. Yeah.
Perhaps it can be arranged. I'll have to warm up first.
Yeah, we'd really love to hear that. So actually, in line with that, someone actually asked in our Q&A box, before we go to our Q&A, someone already asked to hear more about your experience as an international student before. Maybe you would like to share us a bit more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from Scotland in the UK, and I was doing my bachelor's degree in Scotland, and the opportunity came up to do an exchange program for 1 semester at a university in the United States. And this was in my third year of my bachelor's degree, and I chose to take that opportunity. And when I went there, it was a very different system. It was in central Washington, Washington State, the very northwestern state. So it was a very different experience, but also one that was very invigorating. And I just felt like the system, while it was different, was very much it supported my development and my growth. And so I spent 3 months there, best 3 months I ever had. I felt like I returned home and I was more passionate about my career, my field. And so I thought, you know what? I think I like this so much that I might just try and go back again. So I went home back to Scotland, finished my degree, and then applied to come back as a master's program as an F1 student. And I was able to do that. And so I did my master's at the same school where I did that exchange program. And then after my master's, I thought, I want to keep this going. I really enjoy the higher education system here in the US. And so I went to continue and do my doctoral degree. And that's what brought me to Kansas in the first place. So I came to the University of Kansas, which is about 40 minutes away from here. And I did my PhD there. And I was a student for 3 years. I did OPT for 1 year. And so it was a great experience for me. I had experience at 2 different universities as a full-time student. While I was at both schools, I worked on campus. I was an office assistant in international student services while I was in Washington. I was a graduate teaching assistant at the University of Kansas, so I had that on-campus employment experience. I had opportunities after I finished. I did OPT. I actually had 4 different employers because it's hard to find in music a full-time job that meets all the criteria. So I had 4 different jobs at the same time in OPT, which is also a possibility for anybody as long as they're related to your degree program. Then that's fine. But yeah, it was a great experience, and so I'm very grateful to be in the position I am now to help other students follow this similar journey and pursue their dreams and fulfill their ambitions in the same way that I did.
Well, for a full-time job, that's a lot of balance that you had to go through. But coming from Scotland, of course, there's a degree of culture shock, I might say. But how did you manage to adjust, being from the coming from the European culture and then now immersing yourself to the American life? So, how did you manage to really adjust to it?
That's a great question, because culture shock is very much a real thing, and we are, and I myself am very familiar with it. So we are very well versed at supporting our students as they experience that. But for me, it was kind of interesting because, of course, coming to the US from Scotland, we are very different cultures, but with a common language. And so a lot of people might assume that it would be easier in that sense, and in some ways to communicate it was, but culturally the communication style was very different. I come from a background where communication that is direct and honest is more appreciated. Different regions in the US communicate differently. I actually found that the biggest adjustment was coming to Kansas City in the Midwest. People here are extraordinarily nice. I will say that they are the most generous and kind people I may have ever come across. They often do not, when I was teaching, for example, I was providing very direct feedback with very little context around it, and that wasn't really received well by the students that I was teaching. They appreciated a slightly different communication style. Uh, so that was the big adjustment for me, was just about how I communicate and how my professors expect me to communicate with them, which very much was they want you to talk to them. So it wasn't necessarily like in my undergrad that professors did not want me to talk to them, but there was just a little bit more of a separation. Here, they actually want to foster that connection with you. They want to have more of that communication so that if you are having an issue understanding something, they want you to let them know. They want you to share that with them. Whereas for me, culturally, that was something that I wasn't used to doing, but became better at doing so as I went on as a student and also as an instructor. Just evolving to that and making sure that where I came from and the communication style that I used at home wasn't necessarily the same as it was here, and that's okay. But just recognizing that there was an adjustment there and a different level of expectation on how to communicate and how much to communicate, and just adapting to that.
Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Allen. And that is why it's very important to really build connections. Thus, so what Anmol was saying earlier, it's very important that you stay on campus because you get to learn more about other people. You get to really meet new people. So, yeah, that's really wonderful. We do hope the students who are here right now watching us have been encouraged to enroll in Avila University. And if you have more questions, feel free to do so. So let's move on to our Q&A. I've seen a number of questions right now. And I'd like to start with the very first one. When can I start working through CPT and I can only work related to my degree? I think uh, anyone can answer this, Anmol or Alan.
Yeah, I can take that. So the work does need to be related to your degree. Um, the it is considered practical training as it relates to your degree of study. So the employment that you receive needs to be approved to be related to your field. And the way that that is approved is when you receive that offer of employment, then the offer, you present it to our team, and the CPT coordinator and your academic advisor have that conversation. We look at the job description and the responsibilities that you'd be doing in that job, and they basically evaluate whether that does align with your degree program. And if so, it can be approved. Typically, we wait for you to be a student for a full year before you're eligible for that type of internship. For our graduate programs, um, there is potential for OPT within that first year, sorry, CPT within that first year, even earlier, um, if it is required of your degree program. Currently, we don't have any requirements for that for our graduate degree programs. So, but it is something that is many of our students pursue towards the end of their degree. So typically, after 1 year of being a student, you can be eligible for CPT, uh, whether it's undergraduate or graduate degree level.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So, another question, given that Kansas City's reputation is a growing IT hub, what other sectors do you believe are poised for strong development and job opportunities in the near future?
I'll take this one, Dr. Allen. Thank you so much, Dr. Allen. That was, very, very insightful, words from you. And, hearing directly from you, your experiences will add value to all, present in this call. So yes, I can see that question, around technology being, tech companies. So this is absolutely true, Kyla. Kansas is known as Silicon Prairie. Fun fact, right? There are a lot of tech companies which have based out in Kansas City. And I was reading for a fact that Google Fibers, recently Kansas was the test city for Google Fiber network, probably making it one of the, cities in USA with the fastest internet. So, these factors definitely uh, make it a global IT hub, but it's not only IT. I see a lot of companies like Amazon in retail, in healthcare, in other sectors in logistics, having that kind of presence in Kansas City, right? We were discussing companies like Garmin, we were discussing, Amazon, Walmart. So I see a lot of our students being employed, as in analytics and AI, in even in administration when it comes to Kansas City. So Kansas City in itself is I would say, a very good place if the students are considering work opportunities, the employment opportunities, um, and obviously the quality of education at Avila, is unbeatable.
Thank you so much for that, Anmol. Another question. So, for those who will be starting to, plan ahead, how early should I start looking for an internship?
That depends, Kyla. So I see a lot of students probably after a year, after they have done 2 semesters, that's the right time when they should be, looking forward to, if they are looking forward to offshore opportunities. But we do have students, Kyla, who are doing on-campus internships, and, they are getting amazing exposure, right, in their own fields or in different fields, so they should reach out to, as Dr. Allen was mentioning, they should reach out to, the coordinators, to their, the SLIPSA Center of Student Excellence, which would be the best place to, guide them, to frame a way for them, so that, they are aligned, they land up in a best position.
Thank you. That was fantastic tip. Thank you so much for that, Anmol. Going to our next question. What makes Avila a good choice for international students compared to the other US universities? I think Dr. Allen would like to answer this one.
Yeah, of course. So I will give you my most unbiased answer. So I'll start by saying like I mentioned, I was an international student myself at 2 other universities. I have been a full-time faculty member at one other university. And before I worked at Avila, I worked at international admissions at another university. So this is my fifth university that I've been involved in. All of them great schools, all of them have a lot to offer. But I will say that in this current climate, you might say politically, I mean, there are a lot of institutions that are dialing back on their support for international students. They are turning their focus elsewhere to domestic recruitment. It varies from place to place, of course. I've been at Avila since the end of March. That's when I started, actually. And admittedly, one of the reasons why I chose to come to Avila from my previous school is that I was the international recruitment specialist for the school I worked at before. And it was clear to me, however, that the administration from the top down were not focused or prioritizing international students. If anything, resources were very limited. If and sometimes they were being cut back or taken away for what we would do to support international students on campus or support our efforts for recruitment. I have never been at an institution until Avila where I've seen such enthusiastic support for international students from the very top of the institution down. Our president, Dr. Berkey, uh, he travels regularly to support the recruitment efforts and make connections to help support international students coming to Avila and to let students all over the world know about our programs and what we offer here. It is a refreshing change for me to be at an institution such as Avila, where everybody from the very top of the university all the way down to the part-time office employees are just dedicated to supporting international students because we see the value in you. We see the value in international students and what you bring not only to us as an institution, but to our area, to our country, and what you offer and what you are able to help build here. So we see that and we support you as best as we can in that effort. And we're always looking to improve our services however we can to expand our efforts in supporting our international students and bringing more into the fold. So that's one of the things that I can say confidently of the five institutions that I am intimately familiar with. Avila is the one that has been the most focused on supporting its international students and having more come to the campus, whereas I see a lot of other institutions going the opposite direction.
Well, thank you for that, Dr. Allen. Actually, not everyone does have the care and the focus that they put on the students, especially international students. So thank you for that. And yeah, I think, and I really do hope the students here would be really encouraged to enroll. So we do have a last question that we got from our social media post, and we would like to answer it here. So, what industries or companies regularly hire Avila graduates, and how are those relationships built?
Yeah, I can speak to this. I actually saw I pulled a report last at the end of last month or so at the beginning of June about what our last semester's CPT and OPT approvals were for our just because like I've mentioned, we are always trying to support our students and make these lasting connections with employers. So we are monitoring where our students are getting these opportunities and trying to follow up with those employers and build on those connections while also exploring more. I saw a lot of our students were for those who are more in the healthcare side of things. So for the MBA with healthcare emphasis, or for our kinesiology majors, they're in healthcare administration roles. Um, a lot of the tech degrees, such as our graduate programs in STEM, they're also finding a lot of opportunities as uh, coders, as website developers, as AI developers as well. And those opportunities are nationwide. A lot of them are, especially for those on OPT, where they're no longer taking classes on campus and they can move elsewhere for these opportunities. They're finding them all over, but many of them are still local here in Kansas City as well. And so I'd say healthcare administration, um, computer software engineering, coding, and AI development are probably the three that I saw were the most common. There were many other ones as well, but those three were probably the biggest ones that I saw that our students were employed in just this last semester for spring semester.
Okay, that's very interesting. Well, thank you so much for that. And yeah, I think that concludes our session for today. But before we end, we would like to ask if you have anything you would like to, share for the last time before we end this webinar. Dr. Allen and Anmol, anything else that you'd like to share or, you know, um, before we say goodbye to our audience?
So,
Well, just
Kaila, yeah, we would like to thank the audience for their time, for joining us. And we look forward, as Dr. Allen was mentioning, we look forward to support our students in the best way possible, with the best intentions, uh, and we will look forward to make them career ready. And if they need any assistance, they can reach out to our team, in India and all the subcontinents. We have our in-unit team members available for them 24/7. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I second that. I just want to thank everybody for joining. I hope that this was helpful and informative. I very much look forward to working with many and possibly all of you in your application process, and we would love to see you here at Avila University.
Thank you both so much. So that concludes our sessions for today. Once more, thank you for our exceptional speakers for sharing your detailed insights. We've actually learned so much from you, and we look forward to our next webinar where you will be guesting again. So we do really appreciate you both. I would like to remind everyone that this session is being recorded, and you will receive a link to the recording shortly after. Lastly, don't forget to follow our social media pages designed specifically for international students. We hope to see you again very soon and have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.